In this video you will learn how to use a Meraki firewall. It's cloud managed. So just go to Google and then type Meraki login, and then I'm going to click on the first link, and then you get to the dashboard login for Cisco Meraki, and I'm going to use my username and my password. It's my work email. Now this firewall, it's installed in an actual lab environment. This is at Pecan. But the thing is that I can manage this firewall through the cloud. As you can see here, this is my dashboard. It's called the dashboard, and it displays by default all the clients that are connected, wired, and wireless. And you're going to see the difference in a minute. Now, they're sorted by description, which is basically the computer name. You see the computer name, you see the last time that the computer was seen in the network, and if they're green, it shows that they're all connected. So they're all currently connected. And you can also see the usage. That way you can see who's using most of the bandwidth. You can even sort it based on usage, like I just did. So you can see that PC 06 is the one that's using most of the bandwidth. So in case you want to investigate more, like why is it that this computer is generating so much traffic, you can also see the operating system of each device, and on the right hand side you see the IP address of the device itself, in case you want to do further investigations. Now the computer name, it has a link, so if you click on the link, it goes straight into that one PC or that one device. And then on the right hand side you see it has like a pie chart, and that pie chart, it tells you the type of traffic that that computer is generating. You can see here that most of the traffic, it's updates, so I wouldn't be so concerned of this user using the computer inappropriately or anything. It's all comes from the Windows updates. Now I'm not applying any rules. There's different types of rules. There's layer 3 rules and there's layer 7. Layer 3, it's based on IP address, and then the layer 7, it's based on the protocol itself. And I'm going to show you both in a minute, how you can apply rules to this PC in case you want to prevent certain traffics. Now if you click on packet capture, let's say you're still concerned about this device of 08. You say, well, this computer is using so much traffic, I wonder what the user's doing. Well, you can capture live traffic. Now this live traffic, you can send it to the screen itself, or you can capture this into a PCAP file, which you can later dump into Wireshark for further analysis. Now you're going to learn Wireshark in another course more in depth, but just know that you can capture traffic from your firewall or using your firewall from a specific client, and then you can analyze it in Wireshark. Now I'm going to leave it to 60 seconds, so I want to capture 60 seconds worth of traffic. Now you can go up to 1200 seconds. Now this computer's right now, it's not being used at all, so of course it's not generating any traffic. So I'm just gonna click on start capture, and then I'm gonna stop it right away because we're not gonna see anything. But if somebody was using the computer at this very moment, you would actually see all the traffic going in and out of that Ethernet interface. So you just click start capture. I'm going to stop it because there's nothing. I'm going to go back to the main page here, and you can see that the ports that are being used as a firewall. So these are all the ports that are available on the firewall itself. You see that the internet port is 1 gigabit full duplex, which means it incoming and outgoing at the same time. And then there's port number 2, port number 3. These are the LAN ports. They're all 100 megabits per second, full duplex each. Now number 2 is connecting to the LAN itself, to a Cisco switch, and port 3, it's connecting my wireless. Now, but I'm gonna leave wireless for another chapter. But this is the setup that I have in the lab. I have a Cisco switch where the computers connect with the wire, and then I have my access point in case computers need to connect wirelessly. So we're back. This is how can you tell if a computer's connected with the wire? Well, you look at the icon, and then I just hover. my cursor, the ones that you see looks like an Ethernet port. Those are the wired, and then here's my wireless icon. So you can very easily see the difference between a wired and a wireless device. Now it defaults to viewing the information on 24 hours. You can change that. Now I'm going to change it to 30 days. That way we can see 30 days worth of traffic or data. And notice how my pie chart at the top, it changes. You see drastically. Now you see different types of traffics, but still you see that most of the traffic comes from Microsoft or updates or Windows updates. And if you just point your cursor in on the different slices, you see the different types of traffics that are being generated. One of them here is software and antivirus updates. This computer's downloading updates for their antivirus. YouTube is here. I'm going to show you later how to create a rule on YouTube. Let's say this was a concern, which is, you can see here, it's not a big concern. 30 days, 1.6 gigs is not that much. But if it was an issue, I'm going to show you later how to create a rule where you can block Facebook, and you can also block YouTube. You don't want the users to be using that type of, or generating that type of traffic. Because in case your company sees that as a waste of bandwidth. Okay, I'm going to go to security and SD-WAN, and then I'm using DHCP right now. And DHCP is Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. This is my subnet in the LAN 128.0/24. That means 255.255.255.0. And I'm running the DHCP server, and the lease time is 1 day. So that means that every 24 hours my DHCP server is going to communicate with the host, and it's going to check that the computer is still using that IP address. If the computer is not using it, it's going to collect the IP address back to the IP pool, and then somebody else can use it. That's the reason that I actually pick 1 day. That way if a computer goes down for more than 24 hours, I make sure that my firewall collects that IP address again, and another device that is active can use it. Now you can also do fixed IP assignments in case you want a specific, let's say you have a server and you want for that server to use a specific IP address all the time. You can do that here. You put the client name or the name of the server, and then you look at the MAC address of that NIC card, and then the IP address that you want for that server to use. Now I keep saying server, but it could be any other device that you want to make sure that it uses the same IP at all times. You can also do that with IP range. Let's say you have a specific range, let's say IP 1 through 5, and those are used for specific devices. You can also do IP reservation here. Reserve that range, and that way your firewall will not lease those IP addresses to any other device. Now let's go into the firewall and take a look at the rules. Like I said before, there's layer 3 rules. Layer 3 rules are based on IP address. If you guys recall your OSI model, an IP address, it's a layer 3 protocol. And then we also have layer 7, and layer 7, it's going to be based on the protocol itself, or the application protocol itself. And you'll see the difference how we apply those things here in with the firewall. I'm going to go back to, so number 22 is the one that's generating most of the traffic. I'm going to pick on that device, and the IP address is .66. Okay, so make sure you remember that IP address, because the next rule that I'm going to apply, it's only going to apply to this one device. So let's say you notice that this user has been using Facebook a lot. So you want to prevent that, YouTube. I'm going to start with YouTube. So I'm going to create a rule, and then I'm going to deny any type of traffic. It doesn't matter if it's TCP or UDP, just put any. And I'm going to, as a source, I'm going to put that IP address that we just saw. It's 192.168.128.66. So keep in mind that anything that happens here, or any traffic that I prevent, it's only gonna affect this one machine. It's not gonna affect anybody else in the lab, but only this one computer. Now I'm going to do something here intentionally. You can put IP addresses here as your destination, or you can also put domain name, but it has to be the fully qualified domain name. And I'm going to do this intentionally. I'm just going to type YouTube because this is the mistake that I see that a lot of students make. So you can put any comment. Let's block YouTube traffic, and then I click on save. And notice that here at the top I get this big old red banner saying a lot of words, but it's basically telling you that the domain, it's not correct. That was an issue. So I'm going to, and that's because on the destination I just type YouTube instead of youtube.com. So you have to type the .com. So now everything is correct, youtube.com. I'm going to scroll down and then save changes, and now the changes have been saved and the rule has been applied. So now if you go to .66 to this particular computer, you're going to see that this user, within the next few minutes, when the rule kicks in, it usually takes about 5-10 minutes, this user is not going to be able to use YouTube. So when the user types youtube.com, it's just going to be spinning there and it's not going to do anything. Now I'm going to remove the rule, because then if I don't do it right now, I'm going to forget. So I'm going to remove it right now and see that the rule is gone. So now this user can go back and use YouTube again. Now, what if you want to apply this rule but to the whole lab? You're not going to do one by one. I mean, it's going to take you all day. So instead of that, you do a layer 7 rule instead of a layer 3. And these are the categories. You see there's a lot of categories: gaming, news, online backups, peer-to-peer. Also, these are the most common: social web, sports, video. It goes by categories, and then inside each category you have the different services. So I'm gonna do Facebook, and then I'm also gonna do YouTube. So I'm gonna start with Facebook, and Facebook, it falls into social web and photo sharing. And then now let's look into all the social web and photo sharing companies. And we have all these services. You see, we have Yelp, we have Twitter, we have Snapchat, you got Pinterest, you got PhotoBucket, MySpace, you got Instagram, and you got Flickr, and of course Facebook. So I'm going to pick on Facebook right now, and I'm going to go to the bottom right hand, and then I'm going to save it. And now this rule has been applied. So now what this means is that nobody in the lab is going to be able to use Facebook. You see how this applies to everybody, not just one individual. That's the difference between a layer 3 and a layer 7 rule. And I'm going to do another rule here, and I'm going to pick on YouTube now. And YouTube, it falls under video and music. And then I'm going to do my drop down arrow, and you see here we got Hulu, you got iTunes, you got Netflix, you got Pandora, you got Rhapsody, we got Spotify, Vimeo, and of course you got YouTube. So I'm going to pick on YouTube and then scroll down and then save it. And now nobody in the lab will be able to use Facebook and YouTube. And this is how you use a Meraki firewall.